Anyway, listen, let's talk about Thursday night. Absolute, like you said, just absolute bloodbath and not the good kind. In Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. I mean, Wes, it's no secret. We've said this before. Yeah, we had a great time. It's no secret. We've said this before. We record on Thursday nights after the game and on Monday nights after the game. So we're recording this about 40 minutes after that game is finished. Does Brandon Staley have a job at this moment in time right now, do you think?
It would.
Or has he been fired? And they were like, just don't, he went to go get on the bus, and the owner was like, put a clipboard out and was like, that's just you can Uber.
Who did they do that to? Not the Chargers, but a coach that happened once. I think it was Jack Del Rio, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
I think Jack Del Rio for the Raiders or somebody. Or they were just like, you're not coming home with the team.
Yeah,
it would not surprise me either way. It would not surprise me if people wake up and they see that Brandon Staley was finally fired. It would not surprise me if the Chargers don't do a thing about it. Yeah, because that's also very Chargers-esque for them. Going into the game, I was talking to a friend, and we were talking about what the game would look like. And we thought, obviously, like everybody else, that this would be kind of a snooze fest. We did not anticipate the Raiders to score 9 touchdowns. But we all agree, the football fandom agrees wholeheartedly that Brandon Staley needs to be fired.
Yeah.
And they have used every other person on that staff as the scapegoat. And trying to find the reason why they are not a winning team, why they fail to win and close in the final minutes of games or get blown out embarrassingly as this Thursday night game was. The only 2 variables left from these years of disappointment is Brandon Staley and Justin Herbert. What are the odds that Justin Herbert is the reason they're losing games?
I'm going to say that Justin Herbert didn't play in this game, and they
yes, absolutely. I'm willing to say it is at most 1% Justin Herbert's fault, but it is unequivocally, it's Brandon Staley's fault. He has to go.
Yeah.
He has to go. People continue to say that Justin Herbert's career is being squandered, wasted, flushed down the drain with the Chargers. And that can change as long as Staley is gone. I don't know if Kellen Moore is the answer, but everyone feels like an improvement over Brandon Staley. So he has to be gone. He has to be fired. I'm praying that by the time you are watching this clip, that Brandon Staley is out the door and they have a different coach for week 15.
Yeah. And I think if you've been watching along this season, I think, or you've been listening to ESPN or SportsCenter or whatever, we kind of know that he's gonna go this offseason, but I think this has to be just like the final straw. This game, how does a team that got shut out last week, 4 days ago, a team that got shut out 4 days ago, put up 63 points on you, scored 9 touchdowns, unbelievable stuff. I don't know. It's absurd. Listen, and then the Chargers offense has been talented while Brandon Staley's been there. They've been injured as well, but all that being said, Keenan Allen wouldn't have made a difference in 9 touchdowns scored. So it's not like you can look at Staley and go, what happened? He goes, well, we're missing some guys out there. It's okay. Yeah. I mean, that's true, but not the reason why that game went the way it did. I'll say this. I mean, in a moment in which we're kind of rightfully ragging on Brandon Staley right now, I'll give the dude credit for stopping to talk to Carissa Thompson before he went to the locker room at halftime, and her being like, "Hey, Brandon, what happened out there?" And him not just going, "What do you want me to say?" For him to actually articulate an answer there, and be like, "That wasn't us out there. We gotta come back out and play for pride and just try and to be fair, they ended up putting up 21 points. It's better than what it could have been, but I don't know how much pride you salvaged or how much of a job you salvaged by putting up 21 points. So, listen, it'll be exciting to see what the Chargers look like without Brandon Staley next year, and we'll see what that entails, and maybe if Keenan Allen's still around, if Mike Williams can come back and stay healthy, what they're going to do in the draft, maybe what they're going to do at running back. Eckler getting a little older, like. It's tough because it could be like, hey, if we get the right coach in here and like you got a really talented guy under center and Herbert, like, you know, we could see like some good success here in the division, in the conference, maybe a playoff run down the road, stuff like that. But also, I could very well see this like with the age of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Austin Eckler and like how much of a miss Quentin Johnston was. I could very well see like the so far. Yeah. I mean, we can't call him after, 14 games or 14 games, whatever it is. We can't necessarily say it was a full on miss, but he hasn't really shown very many flashes. I could very well see this Chargers team being like last in their division for the next like 4 or 5 years. Like, and that's in a division with this Raiders team. Like it's just it's going to be very interesting to look forward to. Maybe Staley will get a coordinator job somewhere. Sometimes that works out for him in the long run. So
I just have 2 more thoughts, and then we'll talk about the fantasy stats here. The Dolphins did a very similar thing to the Broncos, also to a team in the AFC West. They didn't fire anybody after that game.
Yeah,
that was week 3. That's when it was, oh my gosh, the Broncos look terrible. They're going to have a miserable season. But Sean Payton kept his head up and supported his DC and said, we're going to keep going to work. That's just one game, but we can't sulk in this. We have to move forward. And look where the Broncos are now.
Yeah, they're in a great spot.
There's no more time for the Chargers. That's the difference. There's no more time for them to make a change. You cannot lose 63-21 this stage in the season. Every game matters. But when you are in basically elimination round in the regular season and you lose to a division opponent, there is no excuse. Brandon Staley has to go. And again, the Dolphins did this. The Dolphins have the offense to put up 70 points. No disrespect to the Raiders, but the Raiders do not have the team that I would ever put my money on to get
the Josh
9
Jacobs
touchdowns.
Yeah,
Josh Jacobs was out. He was out. I can't believe it. I mean, it's
like
just
wasn't really a factor. It was like.
It's unbelievable.
Dominated, special teams dominated, offense dominated.
All 3 phases were phenomenal by the Raiders, and it's just like the worst part. Somehow, this is the worst part. The Raiders scored 0 last week, 0 points, and they score 63 4 days later. How do you let that happen? There was a graphic on the screen that the Raiders had scored 48 points in total of 4 games combined from the last 4 weeks. I don't understand how a team like the Chargers can let that happen. Khalil Mack's there. Khalil Mack's on the team. Joey Bosa shows up occasionally. I have no idea how this happens.